Live from the Montreal Casino Cabaret, here is today's main event. 10 rounds of action for the Canadian Heavyweight Championship. Voici maintenant le combat principal de ce gala, prévu pour 10 rounds pour le championnat canadien des poids lourds. This bout will be scored by 3 judges at ringside. Les juges pour ce combat, Monsieur Richard de Carufel, Monsieur Jean Lapointe et Monsieur Claude Paquette. We will also be using the 10-point must system, no 3 knockdown rule, no saving by the bell in any round. This fight is sanctioned by the Canadian Boxing Federation, represented here at ringside by Mr. Ed Garner from Nanaimo, BC. The fight is also sanctioned by la Régie des Alcools, des Courses et des Jeux du Québec, represented at ringside by its president, Mr. Charles Côté, and is under the medical supervision of Fight Dr. Pierre Mackay. Ce combat est approuvé par la Fédération de boxe canadienne et son superviseur, M. Ed Garner, qui est avec nous aujourd'hui, est présenté sous la surveillance de la Régie des Alcools, des Courses et des Jeux du Québec et son président, M. Charles Côté, qui est également parmi nous. Et ce combat est sous la surveillance médicale du Dr. Pierre Meunier. L'arbitre de ce combat, when the bell rings, referee Marlon Wright will handle all the action. D'abord dans le coin bleu, portant la culotte blanche et pesant 230,2 livres. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trunks and weighing in at 230.2 pounds. En 6 combats professionnels, il a remporté 5 victoires, dont 1 par KO. His professional record reads 5 wins, 1 by knockout in 6 bouts. Mesdames et messieurs, l'aspirant numéro 5 de Pictou en Nouvelle-Écosse. Ladies and gentlemen, the number 5 contender for the Canadian title from Pictou, Nova Scotia. Please welcome Steve Mackay.
It's mine, baby.
Dans le coin rouge, portant la culotte or et noire et pesant 265,4 livres. Across the ring, his opponent fights out of the red corner, wears gold trunks with black trim, and weighed in at 265.4 pounds. He is undefeated in 14 professional bouts, 13 wins, 6 by knockout, and 1 draw. Il est invaincu en 14 combats professionnels, 13 victoires, 6 par KO et 1 nulle. L'aspirant numéro 3 au titre canadien de Shawinigan. Ladies and gentlemen, the number 3 contender for the Canadian title from Shawinigan, Quebec. Accueillons, please welcome Patrice Le
Okay, guys, you got my instructions earlier. Expect you to obey my command at all time, and thank yourself at all time. I want a clean fight, okay? Touch gloves.
Good luck.
The tail of the tape, you see the size. It's 2 inches with regard to height, and with reach, you'll see a 4.5 with one hand. So you add in the body, you see the reach advantage to Leroux. This is a man who has the strong jab. Will he use it? Okay, again, we'll see a man with a lot of heart, and you'll notice that McKay's weight up 15 pounds. He was 215 for his last fight. Here he's 230. Leroux, a mountain of a man, and you'll see it.
He is a big boy. As we see Patrice Leroux, likes to be called Pat, also coming in behind that jab, trying to use that muscle, that 35-pound weight advantage against the Nova Scotian in white. It's the vastly less experienced Steve Mackay from Pictou, Nova Scotia. He said he's going to be prepared to fight through some pain. He knows he's going to get hit.
Ooh, and a sharp
Nice
right
counter from Leroux, or from Mackay.
I'll tell you anything about Mackay too, Nick. Is I said, you know, you fought the same guy, Marcelino Aravina, 3 times in a year. He beat him in the third part of the year, the middle part, and the last part of the year. He's like, yeah, no, poor guy. That was his answer.
Well, one of the things is he's fought strictly in Nova Scotia,
right.
And I don't know how many people, how many gyms they've got there, so he doesn't have a lot to choose from. But this is breakout time, and man, what a quantum leap, Bill! All of a sudden you're fighting for the Canadian the Canadian heavyweight championship. Oh, right hand, that was behind the back, beyond the kidney, and Melvin Wright, the referee, warns Mackay, who is obviously tight in this fight. We saw LaRue last time. He looked very tight against Gering Lane early, I thought, Bill. Both guys looked absolutely tight, and really both of them look dry, like they haven't popped a sweat yet.
Well, in talking to LaRue, he thought that Mackay thought that he was going to, LaRue, come in very quickly and not be patient, where LaRue felt patience would be his advantage. But remember, Mackay, though only his 7th professional fight, has had 40 fights in his career amateur-wise, and also won the Canadian Golden Gloves a couple of times. So he does have, in some sense, an experience. Marlon Wright doing a good job of trying to keep the organization flowing in this fight. So you might see some breakups early in a lot of them.
I think Mackay's trying to get LaRue to lose his composure a little bit. And it is a key, Bill. You asked LaRue about the game plan, and he said, hey, I am not going to. I want to be patient. But it looks like he's almost losing his cool a little bit.
Well, remember something. That left eye blew up quickly in the last fight, and I noticed Mackay has targeted that same eye early on.
Well, and it's also a little bit of roughhouse tactics,
Yes.
I think. It's like who could impose really their force. LaRue is the bigger guy by 35 pounds, but it looks like the unintimidated Steve Mackay is really trying to unnerve the guy from Quebec.
And I know, but there could be a little bit of blood now from LaRue, from his nose.
Yeah, he's had the problem, as you said.
They're wrestling. They are really.
Oh, crashing left hook from LaRue to the midsection as Mackay shrugs it off. Mackay getting no leverage on that shot, but the stare down. Again, he's trying to say, I'm not going to be intimidated. And it's clear that he wasn't. He's got to be careful. At a very hot clip for two guys who weigh over 500 pounds between them. There's water coming. Yeah.
Keep it clean, right?
And you got to move to your right. He's trying to ding you with the right hand, brother. Yeah. Okay? You got to move to your right.
He's on a heavy left hook.
Yeah. But see, you've got to counter that with your left hook, okay? Counter that with your left hook. Don't back straight up.
Which would be a rookie mistake. Bill, you hit it on the head. Melvin Wright trying to keep order in the house, telling Patrick LaRue's corner in both corners, keep it clean. It really turned into a little bit of a brawl. Just in terms of a lot of hugging, holding, pushing, that way shoving. But at least they are throwing a lot of punches for heavyweights. David Cadu, they're telling him right now, move to the right. He walked right into a shot there. Oh, LaRue, those shots to the body in the clinch, they're very legal and they're very potent.
Legal and lethal.
Yes. And now it's Cadu, or I should say Mackay moving to the right. Blood is flowing from the right nostril of Patrick LaRue. And he could taste it, he could feel it. And let's see if that forces him to fight with even greater urgency. I think he feels he's the much stronger
He's barreling in. He's starting to realize it. He's basically kept Mackay at bay.
Yeah, and Mackay, again, the problem, you heard it from the corner now. Keep the jab working and keep your hands up. His hands are down now. He's open. He's open.
Yeah, he's got to get out of there.
Yeah. Mackay really looking amateurish at times here. And he looks wide open for Patrick LaRue in yellow.
Another case, Nick, we're going to ask you about the fact that the 16-foot ring. Now, it's a smaller ring for these two big guys.
I like it. You know, from a fan's point of view, it'll force him to fight. But if they get into a firefight, and we could see that blood already on the trunks of Patrick LaRue, and it's his own blood leaking from his nostril. Nothing serious. He's undeterred. He's trying to be the aggressor in this fight, and it's Mackay walking into punches with that lead right, not coming in behind the jab, and really looking outclassed here, I think.
He looks surprised on that one. He definitely looks surprised.
He just looks like a guy who hasn't had enough experience. And his corner yelling at him to keep his hands up, and why not? He's wide open.
Well, he did a decent job in the first round, and he hasn't sort of followed through here in the second.
Well, trying to wing some arm shots there, at least to discourage LaRue and goal. LaRue and just barreling in once again.
Well, he's got to come up with a way to get out of there. He's got to come up with a way to keep LaRue away. You see how LaRue does a good job of setting that jab.
And he closes the ring off.
Right.
He just cut the ring off beautifully there and then connected with a combination.
Now, right, basically, it was a warning. He said, don't do it again. Regard the whole clean issue. Okay, sort of pushing himself free.
This is the battle for the Canadian Heavyweight Championship. And a pretty good history here. Notable names have held that title for this country. Patrick LaRue trying to join the list. Or will it be Steve Mackay? This one's scheduled for 10 to see who will become new Canadian heavyweight champion. And it started most notably with George Chavallo, the man with the granite chin. Trevor Berbick, actually BE, but it's Berbick, and he was the guy who looked good until Mike Tyson thrashed him and made him look like a top or a yo-yo. I remember that night in well back in 1986.
86, and the funny thing was, Berbick was 46 in 99.
And Razor Ruddock almost still fighting. Here's a guy who wasn't afraid of Tyson. He gave him 2 hellacious fights.
He did.
He took really a lot out of Tyson, I thought.
He also fought Ali, if memory serves.
Yes. Patrice LaRue coming forward. He's in the gold, or would you call it yellow? Well, what do you call it? Come on, you're the color man.
I'm trying to come up with the French word for that. Blanc.
LaRue waiting to unload here, and Cadu, or I should say Mackay, not making enough happen. He's from Pictou, Nova Scotia. In only his 7th fight. His hands are there, but he's in a bad spot, is Mackay in white.
Yeah, right.
Just isn't active enough. He certainly has the quickness for a heavyweight. You know, for a guy who's 235, he moves pretty well.
He does. He's just not comfortable in the ring right now.
No,
he doesn't have a space yet.
Absolutely. And he can't discourage Patrick LaRue.
And LaRue's going to sort of barrel and brawl his way right to where he has to go.
He'll claw his way in like a big bear. But he shows you, LaRue, to me, Bill, he flashes that hand speed at times, too.
Right.
He could put some punches together. And I really think those body blows, when they're in close out of the clinches, are going to have an effect on Steve Mackay. Like right here, before the break from Melvin Wright. So that's the kind of thing a guy with a 35-pound advantage should do. He should use it to wear down the opponent. There, keep punching. Defend yourself at all times.
Excellent point, but I like what Mackay did. He kept waving him back. Come on back.
Mackay is not initiating this fight. I don't know why he's waiting to counter unless he feels that he could catch LaRue off balance, but it's apparent that he is not going to make this fight and be first. And I think that's a mistake. Trying to slip. Well, that was just an elbow. That was a forearm shiver to the ribs.
A little bit of his shoulder there. Maybe he went back and got a little football action. The crowd realized it too.
LaRue
and Marlon White pretty much saying, listen, you can't do that.
Not a lot of clean blows in this round. A sloppy third scheduled for 10.
Now, Mackay trying to do what LaRue's been doing, and that's get those body shots inside during the clinch.
I really like the fact that a 265 mountain of a man, as you put it, is trying to fight that way. He just got clocked by a right hand.
Didn't stop him, though.
But it's Mackay, one punch and then holding on. And now it's LaRue crashing a right home.
I love how he puts his body forward. You know, it's like he's using that weight to an advantage. You can see he almost leans as he punches.
That is the end of round 2. Guys,
Wrong sport.
There we go. As we go to Steve Mackay's corner.
Don't argue with him. Sit down, sit down. Don't argue with him. Don't want you arguing with the referee. There's only one guy we're fighting today, and that's Patrice. Don't be fighting with the referee. It's a fight you can't win. Okay? Listen
Great
to me, buddy.
point.
Listen, you're winning the fight. You're winning the fight, okay? He's
I'm
getting...
not taking that crap. You keep it up, I'm going to disqualify you.
Okay. Okay, that's the end of that. No more arguing, right? Why get disqualified when you're winning the goddamn fight? Okay?
I know.
Okay?
I know.
Nope.
I know.
Steve?
Well, that's the answer right there. And Marlon Wright made it a point. You do that again, you're going to get disqualified.
Okay.
The only way I look at this is that Mackay's trying to intimidate LaRue with things other than really letting his hands fly and outboxing this guy, because he's having a difficult time trying to do that. I don't think he's holding his own. I don't think he's winning this fight. I mean, he's holding his own.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
that would be a reach.
trying to keep his confidence going.
Sure.
I mean, he hasn't been outclassed.
No. And LaRue, believe me, there I see holes there.
Oh,
He's
sure.
still a green fighter after just 14 fights. He got a late start, turned pro in May of 2000, so it is time to really crank it up, and he's been busy. This is LaRue's third fight this year.
Well, Mackay got off to a good start in this fight, but hasn't sustained.
Yeah,
And you can't let LaRue settle in. You just can't do it.
well, how do you have it on your card, Bill?
I have right now LaRue winning the last two after dropping the first one.
Okay.
Well, how does yours read?
I'm not going to argue with the master. In other words, I hedge my bet here.
I got you.
I'm glad I'm not scoring.
Well, as we saw in the Bongo fight, I'm not always on the same page.
Well, Steve Mackay in white right now. Patrice LaRue is in the gold or yellow. In a, probably, as we would both agree, a close fight.
Right.
Through three. This is the fourth, scheduled for 10 for the Canadian Heavyweight Championship.
Now remember, LaRue has an 81-inch reach. That's his total. Now, again, it's different the way they do it here, but it's traditionally that's what it is.
LaRue's cut now. Looks like he's still nicked. The blood leaking from the right nostril. Maybe a little cut around the eye, I'm not sure, but he has been banged up before. In fact, in his previous two fights. Swelling around the eyes, cut under the eyes, never been blood leakage where it'd be a problem that way, but he had trouble seeing, as he said, in that last fight against Gehring Lane at times, but he shook it off and won a unanimous decision. That was back on September 11th here in Montreal, same ring, in fact. Steve Mackay has fought only 23 rounds himself, never been beyond 6 rounds. LaRue has been 8 3 times. As we are only in the 4th, that's not a factor yet. But it could be, as they continue to maul each other, this time in the center of the ring. And now it's Mackay finally coming back with the hook. He's just got to put his punches together.
Right. I like the fact that what he's doing. He's trying to now change the tempo. He's going to come forward. If he keeps him in the center of the ring, he could be successful.
Well, he's got to do that, I think, by really working off that jab, too. You can't just stand there and be a target. And some of these lead right hands are sneaking through at times from Mackay. Those short little hooks, but he really doesn't have much of a jab to set up much of an offense. But you're right, he could pick this big guy apart if LaRue doesn't get a little bit more creative and cut the ring off and force this guy to fight inside maybe and win those battles. There's a left that creases the midsection and gets Mackay backing up, and now another stiff left from LaRue. Not landing flush, but
now let's see who does the final ticks, who can win this round. That's how close this one is.
oh, that left hook buried to the midsection, and a good flurry from LaRue before the bell could have been enough to swipe that one.
Very close. You know, if they're winning, it's not by much.
Là, tu te donnes la misère à Christ.
Ouais, hein? Pour rien.
Pour rien. Tu le coupais, là, tu le coupais, puis tu le coupais pas. Essaye juste de raccourcir des coups. Un, deux. Pas plus que ça. Essaye de y en donner trop, mon rien.
Just relax. Okay, just got a little neck. Yeah. A little neck there. Okay, just relax. Just a little neck. Okay. Listen, buddy, you're winning the fight. You're winning the fight. Okay.
It's not good. No.
Here.
Yeah, no. Why? Because it's not regular. It's not the regular.
Just relax. You're winning the fight. It's just only a little neck.
Come on.
You're winning the fight.
Go, seconds out.
see a little blood from
Well, some
like the
words
bridge of the nose
He
from
said you got just
Steve
a nip.
Mackay.
Oh, now you hear the crowd picking up a chant now.
Well, they want more out of LaRue, and I think the corner does too, saying this guy's sort of just standing there is the way I looked at it just from body language, that it looks like Steve Mackay giving a little head fake, sort of trying to draw you in and then nail you with the right hand, but you got to just get busier than him and I'll punch this guy. It's that simple. I think for Mackay, the order of business is get on that jab. For LaRue, it's just out-punch him, bull him, and use your superior skills, but stay busy. Let your hands go. See, it's Mackay there just holding on. He's not initiating enough offense. It's like
how much does that take out of him every time he's got to feel that?
True.
A lot of body.
Well, then that's true. If you lean on him like that, just the way LaRue did. Comes in square, does Mackay. He's there to be hit. He is there to be hit.
Good hook, Steve. Good hook, Steve.
Greg, let's go, Greg.
Hands up, Steve. Keep those hands
LaRue doing a fine job, though, of just sort of keeping him at bay and just going in a couple of peppers.
There's that booming left hook from LaRue.
Now, Mackay answered back, though, Nick.
He did. And it's LaRue just walking in. Just a couple of love taps there from the right. A couple of chopping rights, though. LaRue is now the one holding on. Let's see if maybe he's taking a little bit of a breather. Oh, he whacks Mackay nicely with that right, but it all started with the jab that even missed. But it set up the right and maybe blinded Mackay to what was coming next. And that's what Steve Mackay needs to do, to get that offense in motion, to maybe blunt these rushes from Patrick LaRue. There, turn him, move him into shots, and that's just what he's doing. And now it looks like a lumbering the grizzly bear does Patrice LaRue. And there's another turn. So now we see Steve Mackay using more mobility and running the bigger man into some shots.
Boy, back and forth we go in this round. This is a round of turns.
Good round now for Steve Mackay. We're approaching the halfway mark. If this one would go the scheduled 10, it's for the Canadian Heavyweight Championship. Steve Mackay in white.
Steve, keep your hands up. 1, 2, 3.
Definitely in this fight against Patrice LaRue. Both men have been slightly bloodied. There have been no knockdowns. Some warnings from the referee to keep it clean.
I like Mackay, though. He's been doing a good job in this round.
He has, Bill. That lead right as he sticks it in. And there's that cut. Looks like could be some blood. The left corner of the left eye of Steve Mackay. Now we look at Patrice LaRue. And here's Mackay.
One quick left hook to the body right there. Okay. Here, he just land. Yeah, no, he's got to put it in.
LaRue with more of an elbow there, but he slashes his way in. Just really bulling his way in, but pretty sloppy.
Yeah.
Not really finding the mark. And good head movement gives Steve Mackay there. He does not present an easy target.
Well, fluidity, not either guy's bailiwick, but you'll notice a little mouth starting to come up from Mackay.
You're right, Bill.
Of course, you saw LaRue bloodied, and his blood on his trunks and also on Mackay's trunks.
LaRue coming forward, slams that right hand home behind a double jab. Short with the jab there, and there is a rare jab from Steve Mackay. But I really like what he did in that round. He kept turning Patrice LaRue, and he had him off balance. And again, that's how you run a guy into shots.
That was a good right by LaRue. Good combo.
And that just fired up the bigger man. Now they're on the ropes. And it really is a brawl. And Mackay was beating LaRue to the punch there.
He was.
So this fight could be slowly turning the way of the invader from Nova Scotia, the man in white, Steve Mackay. And clearly the most gigantic fight and moment of his boxing career. And you can say the same for Patrice Leroux, because this is for the heavyweight title of Canada.
I like what Leroux's doing, though. He's composed himself, and he's starting to work that jab again. That jab is so critical to him. Might have gotten a little greedy with the right, but he needs that left to go. Because remember how effective it was in his last fight.
Yeah, and holding and hitting there. Nice move by Leroux out of the vision of the referee. Oh, nice left slammed in by Leroux to the ribs. As Leroux trying to exert his muscle.
Hands up.
Sort of hard to know who's the stronger guy, though.
It is hard to
punches or who hits harder. You know, Leroux's clearly the bigger guy.
Both guys holding ground, though, Nick, which
Right.
you have to like. Nice snapping left by Leroux.
Well, sometimes Leroux doesn't seem to really get extension on those punches, and he's better to the body, I think, with that hook. His hooks to the head, just not a good punch for him. Maybe he doesn't create enough space for himself. He's inside again there, and trying to break through and break down the smaller Steve Mackay and White. They punches once there, left hook from Leroux, right cross, lead from Mackay.
Well, Leroux did pull his head a little bit. He's got to be careful about that.
I'll say there's not a lot of coasting in this fight. There haven't been a lot of clean shots, but as you said, these guys have gone to war with each other. There's been a fair amount of breaking by the referee, so there is some holding here, but now it's pure punching.
Mackay hasn't been offering back, finally there. In the last 30 seconds, though, he had not been offering back, Nick, which doesn't work in his advantage. And he's got to finish strong here, and Leroux's doing a fine job. Setting him up.
Oh, that's the best punch of Leroux's round, I think, a straight right hand. He's backing up and muscling Steve Mackay back. I don't think he's hurt him, but Mackay is not punched out, but a little bit weary from all of that.
Wow, that was a good round.
All of that duking out.
That was
Coming
a
to
good
you
round.
from Casino de Montreal, Little Notre Dame, right across the St. Lawrence River from the city of Montreal, the beautiful city, international Mecca. As we move to the 7th round here, Patrice Leroux, full of action, full of fight in that 6th.
Love the spirit of both fighters, and you got a great sense of the toughness of both fighters and the brawling aspect. These guys kept going and going, and Leroux did a great job toward the end of the round to control it. So much so that even Mackay and he slapped hands at the end.
Is that right? I didn't miss that.
Right at the end of the round, you saw.
Let's go, seconds out.
It was funny because Mackay actually tried to throw a punch. The rope blocked his punch, interestingly enough. But at the end of the round, Mackay and him slapped hands, which you rarely see.
All right, we head to the 7th. We have to tell you, it's uncharted waters for this man in white. He's never been beyond 6, Steve Mackay. But then again, he's only had 6 professional fights. Is he in too deep? He's holding his own against Patrick Leroux. Leroux barreling in and trying to pin Mackay to the corner. But when you get him there, you got to keep firing. Now they back out as the referee separates them. And oh, it's Leroux just inviting a right, and he gets clocked with that as he kept his left hand down, shoulder down, looking to counter. Instead, Mackay fired the right, unloaded, nailed, and got out. Now there's a left hook. We haven't seen many lefts from Steve Mackay. Orders, you saw that. Right hand, left hook, perfectly. All right.
Oh, look at Leroux.
Just pushing.
Oh, be careful. You can't do that.
There's a warning.
Okay, no point, but it was a warning.
Right hand, but not a lot behind it. It's not slowing the bull rush of Patrick Leroux.
I like how you said that. That's a perfect call. That's exactly what he's doing, is his bull rush.
Now Leroux getting extension on that overhand right. His right upstairs is nice, like that.
That's what he's got to do. That is what he has to do.
I like his left hook to the body. I like his right upstairs.
That's how LaRue has to fight. Give him room with that jab, straighten that jab out, and then he came with the right. But Mackay trying to answer back.
Nice left hook. Again, Mackay unleashing that punch for only the second time I've seen flush. And there it's LaRue just firing away inside. He's trying to shove his man out, create a little punching room, and not smother his own power.
Can Mackay withstand here?
LaRue doing a nice job of chasing him down, really trying to load up with that right hand. Look, he's like launching himself into that blow. There's the left hook. Mackay a little tired in his own corner, and he is trapped and shoved back in front of us. Can he fight his way off the ropes? There's still 30 seconds to go in this round. I think LaRue, if he's not punched out, has to really keep the heat on here. I see a little crack in Mackay.
His most effective round.
Mackay having some of the steam taken out of his engine, it looks like, in the 7th round. And if LaRue has anything left, he's got to keep blasting, and he is. Not a lot of clean blows, but a big round for Patrick LaRue. Mackay had his moments as he goes back to his corner on somewhat shaky legs.
It's a 3-round fight. I know you're tired, but he's more tired. He's more tired, Steve.
I ain't believing this cut stuff. This boxer.
I liked what I was seeing from LaRue in this round. However, Mackay did a nice job of fighting back at times, but you gotta love, LaRue might have been a little disappointed as he got him and threw him in the corner. That was probably the only part, the first time he ever showed sort of anger. But then he composed himself well and did what he felt he had to do in this round to take it. Started with a good left, and then he kept using that left to get that right to go. Again, trying to give him some distance. Not really taking any shots from Mackay in that series.
Yeah, I think there's very little you could tell either of these fighters. Are certainly not going to change style at this point. It's been an exciting fight because of the ebb and flow, Bill.
Right.
But it has fallen into a pattern. You get, again, the man in gold trying to pin and trap Steve Mackay. It's Patrice LaRue, the guy coming forward constantly. Very little jabbing from Mackay. I don't think we're going to see that. We saw a couple of good left hooks from him in that last round. Probably his best moments of the 7th. But basically it is coming down to a 3-round fight, as Mackay's cornerman Jim Worthen told him. That was the clear message. And it is a tough fight to call and score.
Well,
referee doing a good job. He lets him fight enough. He'll break him enough when they're just shoving and leaning and taking breathers. So there hasn't been a lot of stoppages of action. Clubbing right hand from LaRue in gold. Blood on his face as usual. It never does look that easy for him, does it? Steve Mackay not discouraged. He has felt the full force of the 265-pound LaRue's power and held his own, as you said, Bill. But
there's a lot to hold.
Yeah.
See that's got to take some. It's got to take its toll. All that weight leaning on you, and he's got to be thinking about getting tired at this point, is he?
I don't know what Mackay could do, though. I think he is getting a little tired, but I don't know if Mackay's doing enough offensively.
Yes.
And it all starts with there's no jab there, so he's got to get the big man in close to land. So he's luring him in like that. And
But
if
he's not
LaRue could
finishing.
come busy behind that jab, he could just absolutely take away Mackay's offense.
But where has he done? That's right. When he's gotten him in, what's he done when he's gotten him there?
Got to beat him to the punch inside, and that was a nice lead left hook from
That was
Mackay.
nice left from Mackay.
Minute to go here in the 8th round. Mackay and White's never been past 6 as he is battling back against the bigger man LaRue in a close fight here in Montreal.
You see the crowd again imploring LaRue.
Oh, LaRue's got to step into those shots and really turn them over, because it looks like Mackay is upright, has fair amount of leverage, but not firing enough shots. He doesn't look busy.
Mackay's got to finish strong to take this round.
Yeah, who's
Nick,
ever
really,
busy
he's
or
gotta
wins
finish
this
strong.
round,
He
wins
has
this
to.
fight. And now it's LaRue sinking in that left hook to the body, holding and hitting.
Right.
Melvin Wright doesn't see it, the referee. He was holding with his left hand and nailing Mackay with the right. He's a little arm weary, but they both are. They are tired. But it's LaRue winning this round on the virtue of being far more clear. And yes, it's a weary 10-8 round, and that is critical. As suddenly the gas tank was empty. The gas tank. Let's listen.
It was. The round's over.
Saved by the bell. You really can't be saved by the bell, but he was over. He was up on his feet, so he wasn't out. But how gassed is Steve Mackay?
He was overwhelmed in that series. That's what caused that knockdown.
The doctor's taking a close look here in front of us.
Sit down. Yeah.
All right, take a look now. This basically was what was happening. Now you can see at this point Mackay is beginning to lose a little steam, trying to come back, but then once he was hit hard, he really was at a point where he just couldn't take it, and then after that, he went on one knee.
And it's not, I don't know how hard he was really hit. I have a feeling it was a matter of him being at a place he's never been before, with a bigger man constantly putting the pressure on him.
I think it was just a series of punches that did it, that just overwhelmed him.
I think he's punched out right now. I just think he's weary. He's never been beyond 6, and that was the end of 8.
It goes back to those body blows, though.
Yeah,
again,
good point. And now LaRue must sense the kill. He has to. He's a little weary himself. I think he's very weary, it would be safe to say. Look at the expression on LaRue in gold. Look at the expression on his face.
Well,
he's in the gold. Now he's got to come out and finish the job.
Well,
and somehow Mackay has to find a second win.
Has to.
And now it's LaRue in front of us, and now it's going to be over. Well, not necessarily over. Remember, no. They got him. Doctor's in. Doctor's seen him out. The referee picks up the count. The doctor.
No, that's it. I said it. Mackay looked. Oh, what's that?
Oh boy, that was the move of the night. Patrice LaRue with a flying somersault, and he's back, and he is one happy camper. He has wrested the vacant Canadian heavyweight championship.
Well, Mackay looked at his corner and just shook his head after that knockdown. He had clearly had enough by then, Nick, and that's why I said it was over. Because what had happened was Mackay was just completely overwhelmed. Nick. And because he was so overwhelmed, when he was knocked down a second time, he looked at his corner, looked right at the doctor, who's situated right to my right, and shook his head. I don't know if we could catch that, but you'll see in this series.
Let's watch what happened here.
After he gets knocked down, he looks over and he shakes his head. That's it. He said, that's it.
But an important thing, he was hit when he was down, and the referee didn't catch that. I mean, that's illegal. You know, Roy Jones got DQ'd for that.
He did.
Hitting Montel Griffin for that. I'm not saying it was egregious, but at the same time, you know, LaRue did a good job. He was clearly the stronger guy here. It was strictly a matter, in my opinion, of him wearing down the smaller and overmatched Steve Mackay, who really didn't have an answer in terms of offensive arsenal. He had his moments, but he didn't put enough sustained punching together to discourage the guy who continued to come forward.
La Fédération de boxe canadienne et par Madame Danielle Gagnon, représentante du Québec auprès de la Fédération.
Oh, George Cheval, I should say,
will be presented by Mr. Ed Garner of the Canadian Boxing Federation and by Mrs. Danielle Gagnon, Quebec representative at the Federation.
Hello! Hello! On l'a, ça la gang, au bébé, salut partout. Ça, on l'a eu. Yes!
He was pumped. And again, it was that case of Mackay just really couldn't handle it any further.
Yeah, he was game. He was just, you know, he was outsized and outpunched.
Well, you had said it though. You said, is LaRue going to go for the kill? And he did. He sensed it early. It was very quick in the ninth round.
He had his man down twice, so clear-cut winner. I'm going to be anxious to see the cards. I would give charitably Mackay a couple of rounds.
Yes, I would too.
Mesdames et messieurs, le
the
gagnant
crowd
par
loves it.
l'arbitre à 27 secondes du 9e round. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner, as referee Marlon Wright stops his bout at 27 seconds of the 9th round, and new Canadian heavyweight champion, Patrice Le Grenadier.
Quebec native scores big. A 9th round TKO over Steve Mackay to win the
And now, ladies and gentlemen, live from the Montreal Casino Cabaret, here is today's main event. 10 rounds of action for the Canadian Heavyweight Championship. Voici maintenant le combat principal de ce gala, prévu pour 10 rounds pour le championnat canadien des poids lourds. This bout will be scored by 3 judges at ringside. Les juges pour ce combat, Monsieur Richard de Carifel, Monsieur Jean Lapointe, et Monsieur Claude Paquette. We will also be using the 10-point must system, no 3 knockdown rule, no saving by the bell in any round. This fight is sanctioned by the Canadian Boxing Federation, represented here at ringside by Mr. Ed Garner from Nanaimo, BC. The fight is also sanctioned by la Régie des Alcools, des Courses et des Jeux du Québec, represented at ringside by its president, Mr. Charles Côté, and is under the medical supervision of fight doctor Pierre Meunier. Ce combat est approuvé par la Fédération de boxe canadienne et son superviseur, M. Ed Garner, qui est avec nous aujourd'hui, est présenté sous la surveillance.